So today we are talking about a guy that we haven't spoken about on this YouTube channel in years. It's been like 5 years or 4 years, whatever it's been, since the last time we had made a video about Danny DeKeyser. But alas, his time has come. And unfortunately for Danny DeKeyser, the guy, the reason we are talking about him is not a good reason. Now, you could make the debate that this actually is a good thing for the guy himself, but the entire situation, obviously, this is not ideal, and we'll get into everything as the video goes along. Danny DeKeyser, though, 34 years old, a former left-handed defenseman who had once played for the Detroit Red Wings. Oh, he was back with the Wings in 21-22. Okay, so 2-3 years rather than 5 years ago, like I had initially guessed. I don't know, man. Time had kind of zoomed by ever since COVID-19 came and went. Still kind of feels like 2021, not gonna lie. But either way, Danny DeKeyser is a former Wing. If you've been paying attention to any Wings hockey over the past decade, you're definitely familiar with the body of work that DeKeyser had. He was, for the most part, an all-right defenseman. He had started out pretty good, actually. 31 points in 80 games played in his second full Red Wings season. But as his time in Detroit continued, his play declined, and eventually he found himself with the Toronto Marlies in 2022-2023 with 1 goal in only 3 games played. Today, though, we are talking about Danny DeKeyser not because of what he has done on the ice, but because of everything that had happened off of it after his career. We have ourselves an article from DetroitNews.com published by Ted Colfin that's going over how former Red Wing defenseman Danny DeKeyser has filed a lawsuit over disability payments. Now, I don't like to do the entire, let's just read a full-on article and see everything that it has to offer in a video, because I like to give writers their credit, you know? I like to say, hey, if you're interested in the piece, it will be linked in the description. You can read more about this on your own time. I'm just giving you a little bit of a preview to give us some talking points for a video commentary. But this is one of the rare instances where I feel like the entire article is kind of necessary to go out there and describe, just so that we're giving the proper information here. Because obviously, former Red Wing Danny DeKeyser filing a lawsuit, that's a really big headline, and anybody who is a Red Wings fan who has kept up to date with the team, who has even some form of remembrance as to what Danny DeKeyser was, they're probably interested in seeing what's going on here. So, let's go out there and read this piece. Big shout out over to Ted Colfin. This will be linked in the description below. Former Red Wings defenseman Danny DeKeyser is suing HCC Life Insurance Company for $680,000 over disability payments. The 15-page lawsuit filed Monday in the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Michigan accuses a breach of the terms of a professional hockey player's occupation-specific and sport disability insurance contract. Oh boy, that's a mouthful. Occupation-specific and sport disability insurance contract. So I think that kind of sums it all up right there, right? But let's continue as to what Danny DeKeyser is suing HCC Life Insurance Company for. The purpose of this case is to compel defendant HCC Life Insurance Company to provide certain long-term disability benefits in the amounts and at the coverage levels that were promised, as well as for an accounting and an award of attorney fees and costs incurred as a consequence of the defendant's failure to do so, the lawsuit said. Danny DeKeyser, 34, from Macomb Township, joined the Wings in 2013 and played through the 21-22 season. After signing a 6-year contract worth $30 million in 2016, DeKeyser began experiencing pain in his left foot, lower back area, and down the leg in October 2019. DeKeyser was treated by an orthopedic surgeon later that year and underwent back surgery in December 2019, forcing him to miss the remainder of the 2019-20 season. Continued issues with his back forced DeKeyser to play 47 and 59 games in the following 2 seasons respectively, and the Wings chose not to re-sign DeKeyser upon completion of his contract. DeKeyser attempted to return to pro hockey in the fall of 2022, but owing to the functional restrictions and limitations stemming from his lower back injuries and worsening medical condition, he was unable to return to playing pro hockey, the lawsuit said. DeKeyser is now a real estate agent in Macomb County. Now, firstly, I wanted to say good on DeKeyser for finding himself an entire other career outside of hockey. I mean, real estate agent, I feel like that's a fairly common thing for hockey players to get into after. I mean, the one that comes to my mind right away is Eddie Lack in Arizona. But either way, hearing that Danny DeKeyser is suing the insurance company that he was with for not paying their disability payments, at least that's what I'm kind of gathering here. Let's just reread this one more time. The purpose of this case is to compel the defendant company to provide certain long-term disability benefits in the amounts and at the coverage levels promised. So I think the implication here is that they haven't been doing that, despite those levels being talked about and being promised upon, as well as for an accounting and an award of attorney fees and costs incurred as a consequence of the defendant's failure to do so. So all of the costs that Danny DeKeyser is getting for making this entire court ordeal happen and getting the lawyer fees, attorney fees, etc., they want the HCC Life Insurance Company to pay that as well. The article, interestingly enough, doesn't go out there and directly state, like, what's wrong here. Oh, did they not pay their whatever? Did they not give him the proper money for the insurance? It's an entire thing, but it does go out there and illuminate that when it comes to the injuries, it feels like with the history that Danny DeKeyser had, he certainly wasn't like the most vanilla guy out there in the NHL. He was physical and he did know how to get into people's grills. So by the time this era rolled around, 2019, when DeKeyser was starting to decline in points and in games played, this is where you started to see the benefits of insurance really come to play. Because if it gets to a point now where the guy's a pro athlete and he's not able to be a pro athlete anymore, you got companies like HCC Life Insurance Company to go out there and compensate that for you. However, it appears so that they haven't really been able to uphold what it is that they had promised, and there are certain disability benefits that have not been given out, even though Danny DeKeyser is probably expecting that. Here's the thing, though, man. $608,000 or $680,000, excuse me. I know Danny DeKeyser made millions and millions in the NHL, but by the time you're out of the NHL, you know, you're back to quote-unquote normal people jobs. I mean, I could totally understand why he's going to bat for $680,000, maybe $700,000 if you add on all the extra things there, whatever interest could be involved. This certainly is not one of the more common stories that you see out of the Detroit Red Wings, but either way, I wanted to shed some light to it on here because it is involving a guy that we have talked about in the past. Danny DeKeyser, I will say, he definitely was not good towards the end of his Red Wings tenure. You could say that these injuries were why, but at the same time, I mean, injuries, they're going to be there no matter who you are. You will get hurt at some point in your hockey playing career. It's just for Danny DeKeyser, not only did the injuries prohibit him from actually playing, but when he did return to play, he was not good at all. Like, I think most people who are newer Red Wings fans might not fully understand the magnitude as to how people wanted this guy gone off the team. It was so bad when DeKeyser was playing his last legs in Detroit. But either way, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as to how his career has gotten over to this, or now he is suing the HCC Life Insurance Company in Detroit. And I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.